insinuating that women were attracted to the physicality and aggressive nature of football due to innate primal instincts. The cave woman watched her man cleave his axe into a head of an animal, yowled and howled, with all the satisfaction of an appetite appeased. It read. Even 100 years ago, it seems, and despite the author's ludicrous scorn and warped bigotry, women were hungry for football. What men, and society in general, have failed to understand is actually far less complex and analytical. It's rather simple. There's something about the elements of football that appeal to the human psyche, regardless of gender. It's a team-oriented sport that focuses on both physical and mental capabilities. And yet, there's an opportunity for players to shine in their individual positions. There's a great deal of strategy to every play call, whether on offense or defense. And the tempo is fast-paced from start to finish. It's also a lot of fun. But women weren't given the chance to experience football in all its glory and immerse themselves in the game. Instead, they were relegated to the sidelines while they watched their male counterparts take part in the enjoyment. At some point, it was only natural that they began to whisper boldly to themselves, "I want to do that too." And in the 1970s and 1980s, against all the odds, against every prejudice, a League of Women did just that. In 1970, the Philadelphia Inquirer published an action line column that featured questions with answers by the editorial staff. One woman from Lewisburg, Pennsylvania had asked, "My brother says I'm a pretty good football player, and I'm thinking of turning professional. Only trouble is, I'm a girl." The response she got was promising. "You may not be able to break the sex barrier and join the Eagles, but there's a place waiting for you on the Pittsburgh Hurricanes," the editors replied. Professional female footballers are the brainchild of theatrical agent Sid Friedman. He recruited the first team, USA Daredevils, in Cleveland, 4 years ago as a comedy attraction. Girls didn't think it was so funny. They wanted to play serious ball. Now there are 4 teams in the all-gal league, including the Hurricanes. Over the course of a decade, women's football teams sprung up across the country. Many were no more than local affairs, and while some teams knew and played one another, others seemingly arose of their own accord, fulfilling the wishes of their players. Some, spurred by the ambitions but not the brains of the agent Friedman, dreamed of a national women's football league to mirror the NFL itself. For a time, this dream seemed far from impossible, and eventually it became a reality with the formation of the National Women's Football League in the early 1970s. In the press, the players' looks were always described before their playing abilities. The women had to answer questions about whether playing football meant they supported women's lib. They always had to talk about what their male partners thought about their affinity for this contact sport, even though the league existed in a post-Stonewall world, and many of the teams served as safe places for lesbian women to be themselves. The women competed against each other. In some cases, they even hated each other. Some teams didn't even know others existed because they never played each other at all. But what they all had in common was a love for a game society told them they shouldn't and couldn't be playing. Even as they battled each other on the field, players also battled for control of the league and their teams off the field. In some cases, they took on the male owners, but most often, they were subject to the whims, decisions, and financing of the men bankrolling and coaching the teams. The men in women's football controlled the money, and they weren't willing to invest the same resources or long-term capital or provide the same number of chances that men's teams are given. The women played and practiced and hurt their bodies, often for no payment at all. Still, in at least 19 cities around the United States, from 1974 to 1988, the women of the NWFL broke the mold for what a football player was supposed to look like. Thousands of people came to watch, perhaps to gawk at first, but then in the end, to cheer on the players. Though the fanfare wouldn't last, the players got to experience what it felt like